and know that you are not the thoughts inside of your head. You're the one who sees them. You're the one who's aware of them. You're this clear, free space which the crazy thoughts are arising within. And learning through all sorts of different practices, it might be meditation or self-inquiry or whatever, to get more and more in touch with that space of freedom which is clear, which isn't crazy, which will never go crazy, and which is the same presence that you were when you were a joyful, peaceful young child. That presence never goes away. You haven't broken yourself. And you can come back to that peace which everybody knows deep down is possible. Yeah, so I was 21, I'm 34 now, and I'd gotten in, for about 6 months, I'd gotten into doing MDMA and a few pills and stuff like that. So I wasn't really experienced with drugs, and I wasn't into spirituality or psychedelics or anything. I was just going out and having a good time. So I went to a festival in Croatia, Outlook Festival.
Oh, wow, that's a good one, yeah.
Well, it was shit for me.
Okay.
Because of this experience.
Yeah.
But I went out, took some MDMA, whatever. It had completely worn off in my experience. I came back and I'd smoked weed for years and years. I took 1 or maybe 2 drags on a spliff, passed it on to my mate. And then I had a massive, I'd call it a spiritual opening, although I didn't have any idea what it was at the time. The world just become immensely vivid. And it was just a big spiritual experience. And then I looked at my brother, and because I'd known my brother my whole life, I was so close to him, and I was suddenly seeing him in this completely different light, as if like there was nobody in there. I can't really remember exactly what it was, but it was something like, he doesn't exist. And when I saw that, he was moving as a body, as an animal, but he didn't exist. I just completely freaked out, and that egoless state that the weed had taken me into, this big opening, closed back in, and my ego came back, but it came back with like the full force of terror,
like a
and
vengeance.
fear, and it just drove me absolutely mental. And then I ran into the dorm out of terror, and I was up all night in terror, sort of like seeing devils and shit coming at me. And then I woke up the next day. Actually, I didn't wake up because I didn't sleep, but I got up the next day and I looked in the mirror and there was nobody there. It's not that I wasn't seeing a body. I could see my face, and my rational mind was still there saying, this is Chris, but there was no sense of self inside this body. It disappeared. And spiritual people think, oh, that's a really good thing. I want to have this.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I'd love experience. Like everyone wants it.
I was like, yeah, that's.
But if you have it at the age of 21, you don't have any understanding about
Sure.
spirituality, and suddenly there's no self there. It's the most terrifying, scary, darkest, driest, coldest experience you can ever experience. And what I would say is I had a premature ego death, and then my ego came back, but it came back in full force. The ego death experience was still there. The no self place was still there, but there was a fucking freaked out mind trying to get back some sense of reality.
Right.
And then I kept, because I got so freaked out, I kept tripping and having all sorts of spiritual experiences, which I had no idea what they were. All I wanted was to get back to my reality, which had been shattered overnight. Yeah. And it felt like I lost my whole family, I lost my whole world.
Really?
It felt like everybody I knew had died, and it felt like I'd lost every single ounce of my own soul. If after you've done it, and you are one of these people who goes into a bad experience and you get freaked out and you're in a load of panic, there's a way out of that.
Right.
Because it can feel like, and this is what I really want to talk about. I don't care about talking about my experiences. I don't care about warning people about psychedelics. What I'm wanting to do is help people who have been through a bad trip, who are freaking out, who want to find a way back to peace and safety.
Yeah, can you talk about that then? Because that's really interesting. So obviously you've had this experience. It helped you sort certain aspects of your life out. Quit drinking, and then how did you get out of it? And go in detailed as you want, because it's interesting.
So like I say, this is the most important thing for me to talk about. And in a way, I'm a bit nervous about talking about it because it means a lot to me. But the first thing, a really, really important thing to realize is that you're not a victim to life. Everything that happens in life happens for a reason. And the most difficult, challenging, most painful, horrible things that happen, and if somebody's listening and they've been in this hell world that I've described for weeks or months or even years, then it's important to get the realization that this is here to help your life. This is here to help you actually go through a shift. And if you use the suffering for your own transformation, if you use the fear for your own transformation, then it can bring about a transformation.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I really want to drill home. Nobody's a victim to life. Even someone who's going through a really bad time after these drugs, you're not a victim to it. Nothing's gone wrong. God isn't punishing you. This has gone right. Okay, so then how do you use it? That's the question. And, you know, I made hundreds of videos on what you can do to use this specific suffering that these experiences can cause to help you awaken out of the mind and to help you come back to inner peace. But the number one thing I would say, well, I'd say there's two things that are most important. Number one is become very, very aware of the thoughts moving through the head. We need to learn to not believe the thoughts in the head, because the thoughts in your head will be saying, I'm doomed. Will be saying, I'm going to go crazy. You don't know that you're going to go crazy. If you're having the thought, I'm going to go crazy, you haven't gone crazy. If you're having thoughts, I'm going to go crazy, if you're having scary thoughts and you're like, shit, I'm having all these thoughts, you haven't gone crazy. You're aware of the thoughts inside of your head. So become really, really conscious of what the thoughts are saying. And know that you are not the thoughts inside of your head. You're the one who sees them. You're the one who's aware of them. You're this clear, free space which the crazy thoughts are arising within. And learning through all sorts of different practices, it might be meditation or self-inquiry or whatever, to get more and more in touch with that space of freedom which is clear, which isn't crazy, which will never go crazy, and which is the same presence that you were when you were a joyful, peaceful young child. That presence never goes away. You haven't broken yourself. And you can come back to that peace, which everybody knows deep down is possible. So that'd be the number one thing I would say.
Love that.
And the second is you've got to love the fucking shit out of yourself, because there's a terrified child inside who's absolutely been freaked out by this experience. And this experience is throwing up every single psychological, emotional wound that you've ever picked up in this life, and maybe even in previous lives. And so you have to learn to love the shit out of yourself, to bring this awareness into your body, to meet your body, to hold your body, to be sweet with your body, to be sweet with every emotional wave that comes up. And through these two things, you find clarity of mind, you stop believing your thoughts, and you start to heal the nervous system, which quite likely is incredibly shaken up and needs a lot of healing. And that takes time, and that takes patience. But in this process, you go deeper and deeper and deeper into this integrated sense of peace and goodness inside. You discover your being, but you discover it in a way where it's like, yes, you're rested and safe within your being. You haven't had some big ayahuasca experience where it's like, oh my God, I'm everything. No, you're gently, peacefully, lovingly knowing the goodness of being. And then you're at peace, you're at joy, and you feel complete inside. So.